I can edit this too.
Hi, how's it going? My name is Dylan. I'm here with Revival to explain our new product line of gems. And they are experience-driven pressed tablets, all plant-based materials. So, a little bit about my background. I have a bachelor's and master's in pharmacology and toxicology from the University of Buffalo. I was working in biochemistry, protein chemistry for a contract research lab prior to this. When my friends started this company like 4 or 5 years ago, they brought it up to me, and so I've kind of been waiting for this to take off. So I started in February, and really excited to bring like my lab side of things to protein chemistry and translate, because I mean this is the exact same. It's protein chemistry at the end of the day. So yeah, the first product we wanted to launch to get out in the market were these tablets, these pressed tablets. So now I say experience driven, they are essentially like supplements. Like every ingredient that goes into these is plant-based. It's sourced right off of like bulk supplements or GNC, obviously all food safe. These are meant to be taken as like additives to your food and supplements every day. So running into the chemistry of like how a pill is made before I start talking about the specific like effects and like the specific actives in each of these. So you have binding and flow agents. And your binding agents are generally cellulose-based, so plant matter. Microcrystalline cellulose and hydroxypropyl methylcellulose. These kind of like create a binding matrix between all the different ingredients that you have, all the different powders that you have inside of the pill, so they stick together. The next flow agent, very common, is dicalcium phosphate. Again, another thing just right off of bulk supplements, and this fills out the empty space. It's a very, very finely grained particle, and it will, so you like, you know, sometimes like you have these, like you might have a botanical in there that's fibrous, and like it's not as like densely packed molecularly, so you'll have like pockets, and that'll lead to poor compression and poor binding. So dicalcium phosphate it's so fine that it, you know, I'm gonna keep going, that it fills in those empty pockets and just creates a better overall compression matrix. And then two minor ingredients that are used in trace amounts are silicon dioxide, and that absorbs any moisture that might be present.
Oh, interesting.
And also, which in turn is an anti-caking agent, because if you have moisture, you know, it'll be clumped. You'll have the cohesion of the water against the other particles, the molecules, and they'll clump together. So silicon dioxide wicks that moisture and allows it to be kind of like a homogeneous powder, and it doesn't cake. And then the final ingredient is magnesium stearate, or like it's a form of stearic acid, but in the salt form, so it's not acidic. Stearate is just a fatty acid.
Okay.
So it's a fat, and it like lubricates the particles. Okay. So those are the four.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, those are the four common. You'll find those across many pharmaceutical, like any press tablet in the pharmaceutical world. Those are like very common.
And what was it? It was, the last one was magnesium?
Magnesium stearate. Yep. So that's magnesium stearate for lubrication. Silicon dioxide is an anti-moisture, anti-caking agent. And those are trace amounts, like 1% max usually in the entire solution. And then cellulose, your microcrystalline cellulose, and hydroxypropyl methylcellulose. Hydroxypropyl methylcellulose is very also trace in like 1 to 2%, like 2 to 3%. Microcrystalline cellulose will be around like 30 to 40%, and dicalcium phosphate also like around the 20 to 30% range. So those are your common excipients, we call them. They're inactive ingredients in the pills, and they just help bind it, and they help your pill form. So now to go on to the active ingredients that we use, and I'm also going to umbrella the all the natural colorants that we use as an actives, because at the end of the day they are supplements that you'll take, like that you would like add to your diet. So our flow, very simple. It's just a 10 milligram THC tablet. So how we solubilize the THC and powderize it, we start with crude oil. We get full spectrum crude oil. So this is a step behind like distillation. So you have your full plant matter. You will extract that with CO2 or ethanol to get like your crude, and then it's winterized to remove the fats, and it's decarboxylated to become active. So the crude oil we get is full spectrum, contains the full terpene, flavonoid profile. So we just need to solubilize it and get it less viscous to be able to work with it. So what we do is it's a 2-to-1 with a coconut oil to the THC, crude oil, just MCT, specifically carbon 8 and carbon 10 chained MCT oil, which is medium chain triglyceride coconut oil.
Okay.
So that is fractionated to remove all of the other carbon chains that are not 8 and 10, because 8 and 10 are the most efficient at pulling THC, at extracting the THC out. So I spin those on a hot plate. So I'll mix that on a hot plate around like 80, 90. You don't get any degradation until about like 110, 120, so it's safe to do it. I mean, you will if you leave it on too long, but I've got it down to 1 hour, somewhere in between 80 to 90, and it seems to fully saturate and pull out all of the maximum amount of THC. It's so that works. So we start with that, and then obviously the crude oil is very dense, very viscous, so that will thin it out. And then we use calcium phosphate, either tricalcium phosphate or pentacalcium phosphate, and it's a mixture of them. I mean, it's a proprietary ingredient from a different company. It's called Firma Oil. And what calcium phosphates do generally are absorb oil and powderize it. So we do like about a 2-to-1 again with that to the total oil phase, and that fully absorbs all of the oil into a chalky powder. So we hand mix that, tumble it, and eventually you'll have a homogenized medicated powder, which is just tricalcium phosphate and the oils that we're using. So that, we get that usually comes out around like 100 mgs per mil, or 100 mgs per gram, mgs per gram, concentration wise of THC. So that is our active THC component of it. So for the flow, all that's done is that you get the active form, you add your excipients, you spike your excipients to help the binding. And we add, as you can see here on the bottom, our coloring goes from purple
cool.
sweet potato powder.
That's amazing.
Right. So that was a big focal point of what we wanted to do, was be all natural.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
because you look at, we wanted to attack the point that you look at 1906, they were using talc as a filler for a while.
Ew.
Right. And I know that I'm pretty sure they're starting to phase it out. They have to, because it's illegal now, but red dye 40, yellow dye 10, they use those for the colorants. Gosh. And you even see when we started this, we're no, screw that.
I love that.
We're not doing that. And even the custom pressed powders that you'll get from different companies that are colored, like LFA, for example, will also have synthetic dyes in them. So we completely were we're not going to mess around with that. We're going to make our own formula.
That's amazing.
And so that's
if there's alternatives, why not?
Exactly. So that's what we did. We made our own formula. And it really just comes down to a healthy balance of those ingredients, those excipients and the active ingredients that I'm about to read off. And it took a little time, a little R&D, but here we are. So that was the flow. Again, just oil phase, medicated oil phase made as I just described. Then you add your excipients and purple sweet potato. Mix it for 20, 30 minutes, slow tumble, and boom, then it presses.
That's awesome.
Easy peasy. So now I'll go into our more specialized effect tablets.
Yeah, this one's very interesting. I see it says half a cup of coffee. Is that per?
Yep.
Wow.
Per
okay,
pill.
Okay.
So our charge, and it's a little early and like, not a ton of data out yet because we're just getting in the stores, but
Yeah.
charge does seem to be our most popular. We wanted to give a product that, gave you energy, but a clean energy. Like we wanted to avoid the jitteriness you get if you get too caffeinated, So we came up with the charge formula. And you see it's just a 5 mg THC and 5 mg CBD. So for the CBD, it's a little bit different than how we prepare the THC. So the THC comes from the crude oil, so it's an oil phase. However, you have too much oil phase in pills, it's not going to compress. So the CBD is isolate that we buy just, from some RSO, some big company. And that's made very similarly to how you would make distillate, and it's just an extra step for crystallization, and it has like heptane or pentane usually for crystallization. It's just a step after distillate. So we take our medicated like powder that we make, add the 5 mgs of the CBD isolate. It's very pure. It's like 99.9%. So those are our 2 cannabinoid actives in this. As for the other key ingredients, so a little bit about them. Guarana is a natural source of caffeine. So you can't like put caffeine, like lab caffeine, in any of these products. It's illegal in New York State unless it's naturally sourced.
Cool.
So guarana is a natural source of caffeine. So it usually comes in about 22%. Potency is the highest you'll find, so that's what we got, 22% caffeine. So your 182 mgs of guarana equates to about 40 mgs of caffeine, and which is about a half of a cup of coffee, 40 to 50 mgs, like 80 to 100 is a cup of coffee depending on the strength. So each pill has about a half cup of coffee through guarana extract. And here's the best ingredient in my opinion is the L-theanine. Everyone, it's amazing. It just like
helps with my migraines.
it helps just mental focus, clear everything. I've had a couple. I was just about to say that I had a couple like people recently who were like, "This is amazing for my ADHD."
It works better than actual Adderall.
That's what I've been hearing from people, and makes a lot of sense why I love it then, because I definitely have some ADD. But yeah, this seems to be the favorite. And then ginkgo biloba has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for a long time to support memory function and cognitive memory function.
Ginkgo also gives energy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think scientifically, it because it activates the glutamate excitatory receptors in your brain. And that's what I'm pretty sure the mechanism is, but. So yeah, and our coloring to cap this one off, beta carotene.
What is that?
Just what's in carrots.
Oh.
Make some orange.
Ah,
Yep.
That's fun.
Yep.
I see the butterfly peacock flower on there.
Oh yeah, blue matcha. Yeah, you'll see that is the most robust color out of all the tablets is the blue, because it's so so potent as a coloring agent. So our drift is, in my opinion, the most effective in terms of its target effect. It knocks you out. And I'm a big guy. I take a lot of these usually.
How many?
Well, for the ignite and the charge, which are my favorites,
Okay.
I usually take 4 or 5
Okay.
at a time.
Well, they're only 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The drift, you need 1, and that's all you need. because
there's
that
melatonin
knocks
in
you
it.
out. It's not even the melatonin. It's this
CBN, yeah.
the
That
C.
CBN mixing with that CBD helps
Yeah,
strengthen
yeah,
all of
and
it.
then you take, CBN is most effective when it has its full spectrum terpene profile to interact, because it's all additive. That's why you get a heavy indica strain. It's like that CBN working with the natural plant matter, and the THC is what really knocks you out. So we took CBN isolate and made it the forefront of this pill, and it works. It drops you. I mean, personally, it keeps me. I know some people have a problem with CBN, hangovers,
Yeah.
and
It
like
drops,
dreams.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that really just comes down to your individual metabolism.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I have no issue with it. It keeps me asleep all night,
I used to take it all the time.
and I feel really rested in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is why these are so effective, is the CBN in this. So you have your typical, all of our special effect pills that aren't just the standard THC are 5 milligrams of THC and come with 20 in a pill, 20 in a case. So for the 100 milligrams total. And that's mainly because you adding all these other actives in there, it's like tough. If you have double oil phase, it's not gonna press.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the butterfly pea flower. I'm sorry. Butterfly pea flower. Chefs use it all the time. My brother's actually a chef, and when I was sourcing all this to find the coloring agents for these, I was talking to him. He was like,
Sounds so fun.
"You got to get butterfly pea flower.
Yeah.
We use it. You just use a little drop and tiny bit in food, and it turns everything blue. Yeah,
Never heard of this.
yeah.
Really?
It's blue matcha.
Yeah.
Like
You
people
could-
use it to dye their clothes. Like
Drink it.
yeah, people drink it. Like I used to work at the cafe across the street, and we would use butterfly pea powder to make blue lattes and
Yep.
stuff.
Sounds so nice.
Yeah, no, these are good. We've contemplated, keeping melatonin in that, but it's a pretty small dose.
Yeah, 1 milligram.
Yeah, because I know that's another kind of a polarizing ingredient. Some people don't like to take melatonin.
I used to take it all the time.
Me
until,
too.
Recently,
Yeah, those natural pills with the 5-HTP melatonin pills for a night. Yep. Yeah, me too. So yeah, that drift is the most effective. You need to sleep. If you have a problem sleeping, if you have any customers that buy anything for sleep, give them
we have a lot.
give them samples of this.
Okay. And it's awesome. We have the little
Yeah.
packs now.
They'll take this, and that'll be their solution. It's just so effective. It's crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who come in here who don't smoke cannabis, don't take it during the day, but they just want it at night.
Yep.
So what I've been recommending, 'cause I didn't know that yours had melatonin in it either, but I've been recommending the Eaton gummies.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the nightcap,
Yep.
because they're 5 milligram CBD, 5 milligram
2
THC.
melatonin.
There's no melatonin in it, but there's CBN.
Okay.
And then there's
Is it 1-to-1 CBN? You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And now this is interesting. I'll recommend these.
So speaking of taking things at night, I'm kind of similar. I I go about my day, do everything, and then when I get home, I unwind. So that kind of segues into this last tablet, the Ignite. So originally marketing this as a sexual arousal. Really, that would kind of pigeonhole the product
Really?
at the end of the day, because it's more than that. It's more than
Yeah.
just arousal. It's just all in all relaxation. This is what I take. The Ignite is what I take when I get home and I want to relax and hang out
Really?
and not go to sleep. So this puts me calms me. I think the 4-to-1 CBD shown scientifically to boost libido, but also just a high CBD is just overall just leads to that relaxing feeling.
Okay.
So that is our 4-to-1 right now. 4-to-1 CBD, 20 milligrams CBD in each 5 milligrams of THC. So then you have your ashwagandha and your ginseng. And ashwagandha helps endurance through promoting the blood flow, vasodilation. so you get like better blood flow throughout your
Okay.
body. So better oxygen, more oxygen delivered to your muscles, your brain, leads to like that endurance, that like energetic like feeling that you get.
So then, how does that ease stress? Then how does that like
Well,
work together?
so you know on like airplanes where they have the oxygen mask that comes down, that what that is for, really, it has no like actual like major like health preventative issue in the event of a crash. What that does is relaxes you,
Really?
because oxygen does that. So like if you're breathing oxygen rich, you'll just feel good. Like oxygen's the best drug of all. At the end of the day, like that is like, so that is where that like calming comes
Okay.
in. Is that
So
just
it's not the like CBN calming. It's the just like
just the blood flow. You just
Okay.
feel, you know.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Ginseng, kind of in the same pew as that, where you get that energy from just promotion of like blood flow. Both are blood flow promoting, so you can see why that they would be included in a sexual arousal tablet. But at the end of the day, like I would hate to see that, like, you know, for people, like they'd be like, oh well, that's interesting, but you know, like it's also relaxation.
Yeah.
So I like, this is my nighttime blend right here.
Drift.
Ignite and drift. It's like I take Ignite when I get home to relax, watch TV, hang out. Friends are coming over, my girlfriend's coming over. Then I take the drift to go to sleep.
Nice.
And coloring for that is beetroot powder,
Yeah.
organic beetroot
I
extract.
love that.
So yeah, in just a synopsis of everything is plant-based, you know, no sugar added. So obviously plant-based, vegan.
Are they gluten free?
Yep.
Okay.
Gluten-free, full spectrum. All these ingredients are food safe, and you buy them to consume off of.
But they do have coconut oil,
Yes.
so people are allergic to coconuts.
Yes.
Our
Most products are extra.
yeah,
Are solid.
our community manager, she can't have coconut. So
Okay. Yep.
interesting. All right. Cool.
Any other questions? Or?
No, I'm gonna do it off the record though.